The life and sad ending of Grace Slick. She was born to Ivan Wing in Virginia. Her father was an investment banker while her mother was a former actress. The family moved often due to the nature of her father's job. She went to Palo Alto Senior High School before moving on to Castilleja High School. She later attended Finch College for the session 1957 to 1958. After spending a year at the University of Miami, she decided to quit her studies and went home to California. As a young girl, she was hopelessly confused about her career path, though she always had an interest in singing. She married Jerry Slick, an aspiring filmmaker, and moved to San Francisco. Along with her husband, brother-in-law, and some friends, she formed the music group The Great Society that was active from 1965 to 1966. The band became a popular psychedelic act in the Bay Area. In 1966, she was asked by the band Jefferson Airplane to join them as a singer. She obliged. She also took 2 compositions from The Great Society with her to the new band, White Rabbit and Somebody to Love. The band released their first album after Grace's inclusion in 1967. The album, titled Surrealistic Pillow, is considered to be one of the early works of psychedelic music in the counterculture era. It was a huge success. The success of the previous album motivated the band to bring out their next album the very same year. After Bathing at Baxter's was a watershed album and had a heavier rock feel. In 1968, the album Crown of Creation was released. It peaked at number 6 on the album charts and was certified gold. It featured the tracks Leather and Would Share a Little Joke. During the early 1970s, Jefferson Airplane was in the process of disbanding. Several members of the group, including Grace, formed the new group, Jefferson Starship. The new band released the album Dragonfly in 1974. It performed well and was accredited gold. One of the tracks from the album, Hyperdrive, was used in the opening ceremonies of the 1976 World Science Fiction Convention. The band's 1975 album Red Octopus spawned the single Miracle, which was a super hit. The single hit number 3 on the Billboard chart, which was the highest charting single the band had ever had till that point. By the mid-1970s, she had also embarked on a solo career. Her debut solo album Manhole was out in 1974, followed by Dreams in 1980. Her solo albums were recorded without any help from her previous band members. Her final solo album, Software, was out in 1984. It had the tracks Call It Right, Calls It Wrong and Me and Me. By this time she had rejoined the band Jefferson Starship. All the original members of Jefferson Airplane reunited to record one final album, the self-titled Jefferson Airplane, in 1989. The album was produced by Ron Nevison, who had produced several of the band's previous albums. Grace retired from music shortly afterward. The album Red Octopus by her band Jefferson Starship was a big commercial as well as a critical success. The album peaked at number 1 on the Billboard 200 and went multi-platinum. She was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Rock Female Vocalist for her solo album Dreams in 1981. In 1996, she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of Jefferson Airplane. She was married to cinematographer Jerry Slick from 1961 to 1971. She developed a relationship with guitarist Paul Kantner and had a daughter with him while still married to Slick. Her second marriage was to lighting designer Skip Johnson, which lasted from 1976 to 1994. She has had a long-standing problem with alcoholism and smoking. She was so addicted to alcohol that sometimes her shows had to be cancelled. She also has a dubious history of abusing people under the influence. An art lover, she took up drawing and painting after her retirement from music. She has made color renditions of musicians like Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, and Jerry Garcia. Slick was arrested at least 4 times for what she has referred to as TUI, talking under the influence and drunk mouth. One incident occurred when a police officer encountered her sitting against a tree trunk in the backwoods of Marin County, California, drinking wine, eating bread, and reading poetry. The officer asked what she was doing. She gave a sarcastic response and was arrested and jailed. She was arrested in 1994 for assault with a deadly weapon after pointing an unloaded gun at a police officer. She alleged that the officer had come onto her property without explanation.